A pro-Weare group in Ahoda West local government area has staged a peaceful protest to demand that the police should remain in all the local government secretariats as ordered by the Inspector General of Police. Leader of the protesters and the immediate past chairman of the council, Hope Ikiriko, says the group loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory is satisfied with the decision of the Inspector General of Police. He says they will be patient until the court gives its ruling on the matter. He urged the group never to take laws into their hands despite the provocation. He also commended the Inspector General of Police for the move. For this conversation, we now turn to former chairman of Emohua local government area of River State, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, who will be speaking on the political crisis in the state, the controversy over the tenure of former council chairman, their protest despite police ban, and how to return peace to the state. Good afternoon and good to have you on Arise News.
Good afternoon, Dr. How are you?
Well, I'm very fine, thank you. Now, Dr. Lloyd, what would you say is responsible?
I have a problem. I have a problem with you referring to me as former chairman.
Well, from what we understand, you are the former chairman because the governor of the state has sworn in a caretaker committee chairman who have taken over the administration of the local governments. So would you want to clarify that?
The governor will do. I want to clarify that by saying that with due respect, the governor has acted ultra-vires his powers. So when that happens, you don't take decisions or take decisions that will affect the rest of a matter that is before the law courts. So it is not appropriate to refer to me, either me or any of my colleagues, as former chairman.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand, that there's also a court order invalidating the extension of your tenure, by the Amewule-led assembly.
Exactly. Tokbe, I'd like to dwell on that. You see, everybody talks about a court judgment by Justice Dakete Makio of the River State Judiciary. Two of my colleagues, Enyada Kukigam and Anainge Baraswa, sued the governor of River State, the Attorney General of River State, and the government of River State, and hurriedly got a judgment of a court while we were before Justice Igwe, IPC Igwe of the same River State Judiciary. They hurriedly went again, the same parties hurriedly went before Justice Dakete Makio, while Justice Igwe's own matter had been adjourned. Now, in that matter, the 21 chairmen sought to join the suit before Justice IPC Igwe. The reason why we sought to join the suit was because any decision that is taken by the court with respect to tenure and tenure elongation will inure on the 21 of us. So we are proper parties according to the Supreme Court, because any party that seeks to join a suit that feels that whatever decision is taken will affect it is free to join. To our chagrin, they rushed again, the same parties, the same claimants, rushed before Justice Dakete Makio and got the judgment. Now, what did they do? Justice Dakete Makio expunged Section 9 of the River State Local Government Law Number 5 of 2024, which sought to extend the tenure of local government chairman. Tokbe, one would ask, what happened? What led to the extension of the tenure of local government chairman? Now, recall that there is the River State Independent Electoral Commission law that stipulates how elections into local government areas in the state will be conducted. And the section of that law says that there shall be a publication, a notice for election 90 days to the expiration of the tenure of the incumbents. Recall that Section 7, Sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, provides that the government of local governments shall be by democratically elected officials. That it is guaranteed in the first instance, and that its governance must be by democratically elected individuals. Now, because of the lacuna, because of the inability of the government of the state to provide the enabling environment for the State Independent Electoral Commission to perform its duty, which is another flaw of, on the local government autonomy. Why must it be that it is the governor that must raise the flag before elections are conducted? So this really gives a lot. It has a lot to say about the independence of the third tier of government. If the governor does not raise the flag, the Independent Electoral Commission will not conduct election. That is why the state, after every election conducted by the Independent Electoral Commission of every state, you find out that in most cases, the state, the government, the party in power in the state sweeps all of the positions from the councillorship to the chairman. So this again has brought to the fore the discourse about the independence of the legislature. So unfortunately, that is the situation we have at hand now. So the Rivers State House of Assembly, under the able leadership of the Honorable Martin Samehule, rose to the occasion. What happens in the event that now that it is obvious that elections will not be conducted? What happens if the tenure of the incumbent chairman expires? And they rose to the occasion and invoked what can be likened to the doctrine of necessity and amended the law to say that these democratically elected officials shall continue in office for 6 months. Within these 6 months, if the environment is conducive for elections to be conducted, of course, they will exit. For those who are interested in contesting, will go ahead and contest. And Tokpe, let it not look as if the Rivers State House of Assembly has committed some very heinous offense. Only recently, the governor of Katsina State, the governor of Zamfara State, wrote a letter to the House of Assembly and pleaded with it to help it extend the tenure of the incumbent local government chairman. And the House of Assembly did so by resolution of the House. And in the South here, our sister state, Akwa Ibom, Pastor Omo Eno, also wrote to the Assembly to help it extend the tenure of local government since they were not prepared to do so. So this was what happened, and agreed with you that that section of the law was expunged. Tokpe, I want to inform you that we quickly took steps and appealed the judgment of Justice Dakata Makio, which the Court of Appeal has heard, and in course of the hearing, enjoined parties to maintain status quo, and subsequently heard the matters where lawyers in the parties adopted their briefs, and judgment has been reserved to a date that will be communicated to the councils in the instant case. So that is the situation. So what we are maintaining is the status quo as ordered by the Court of Appeal. So you are not correct to refer to me as former chairman. It is not enough that the governor has sworn in a caretaker. The governor has done so in default, and the world, everybody is watching with total dismay as to the activities of those who find themselves in power.
You're right. Many people are watching in dismay and complete confusion about how this crisis will be solved. We are waiting for the court date when more will be elaborated on, but it seems that there are some sympathizers and protesters who were causing a bit of havoc within the state. What is the way forward in this meantime while the court order is, the court date is being awaited upon?
I would say this to you clearly. I am not only a politician. I am an academic. I hold a PhD in law and with another PhD in view in conflict management and security studies. I hold a master's degree in conflict management studies and security studies. One from the University of Dundee in Scotland and another from the Rivers State University. So for a man as learned as I am, there is a minimum standard of behavior, which includes that from the day I was elected into office, I knew when my tenure will terminate. Now, fortunately, or unfortunately as it were, we have this situation in the state. Now, if the governor had gone ahead to do what he ought to do, we will not be where we are. But like you said, you have sympathizers on either sides. What happened that precipitated the protest, as it were, that you showed on your screen, was that we woke up to read a publication from the Nigerian Labour Congress that they were going to picket the offices of the local government across the state. And it will shock you to hear that members of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees made nominations into the caretaker committee as appointed by the governor. Every local chairman of Nolge, as they are referred to as, made nomination into constituting the 7-man caretaker committee for the local government. Now, when we read that, we said, no, these are politicians. For you to make that list, you would be a politician. And unfortunately, the law says that you would resign from any job that you are doing, except you do not have a job. And these are civil servants who have been brought into the murky waters of politics. So we no longer view them as civil servants. So as politicians, we now woke up to say that we are going to protest because we are going to picket the local government offices with a view to making it look as if the police has taken side. So we are going to move to say that no, that the police, once there is a dispute among two fellows, the police stands in the middle and assumes a neutral state. What the police did was to avert a reoccurrence of what happened in Omuma local government, where at the end of the crisis, where some persons went on a public holiday in a macho style to take over, as it were, reminding me of some of the relics of the military junta of those days, that they are going to take over the governance of local governments. So the police moved in under the direction of the Inspector General of Police. And luckily for us in Rivers State, we have an officer and a gentleman in the person of Olatunji Disu, Commissioner of Police, who moved in and deployed his men across the 23 local government areas to take over with a view to stemming the tide of violence until such a time when the courts will decide one way or the other. So you can see that this was what happened. So when we read that, and members of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria, ALGON, we convened a meeting and held a press conference and informed the world that NOLGE, the Trade Union Congress, the Nigerian Labour Union, and all affiliate bodies have dangerously taken sides and should be viewed as politicians henceforth. They, apparently realizing the gaffe, ran to the press and said they had suspended their planned protest. So, but in order for us, we thought they were going to sell a dummy to us. You know, the kind of dummy that makes it possible for a witch to cry at night and a baby dies in the morning. So we were vigilant. What we did as members of Argon was to mobilize our own people to keep vigil. You recall what happened when Jesus took some of his disciples to go and pray. He kept a few of them somewhere and proceeded and asked them to watch and pray, because we are told that the devil comes not in the afternoon but at night to steal, to destroy. So that was what we did yesterday when we kept vigil in our various local governments.
But
and
Dr.
to stand
Lloyd,
with the police, to commend the police for the professionalism they have displayed so far.
But Dr. Lloyd, you know, even while keeping vigil, is it right to break
yes,
the law?
Yes,
is it right to break the law or disobey constituted authority? Because we understand that there is a ban on protest in Rivers State at the moment.
No, I couldn't have broken the law after giving you my resume. No, talk by rather. I couldn't have broken the law after I have done a synopsis of my resume, which includes that I hold the highest degrees in law. So there is no ban. There is no ban on protest. What happened was that the Nigerian Labour Union said they were no longer going to protest. So they didn't stop those who went to keep vigil. I told you, I went to my local government area with my supporters, with the councillor, with the vice chairman, to keep vigil, because we know from our primary Bible knowledge that the devil does not come in the afternoon. He comes at night to steal and to destroy.
Well, Dr. Chidi, you are quite astute, and I see what you're doing there, playing with semantics in order to skate the responsibility of what my co-host just said. But we'll move on from that as you have said. So what are you prepared to do as an individual or your colleagues if the judgment does not come back favorable?
Oh, of course, I would dust my wig and gown and hit the ground running. So if the judgment does not favor us, we move on. That is how it is. But I have always said, Aware, that you recall that my colleagues and I, we are the campaign coordinators of Governor Siminalayi Fubara in the 2023 local government elections. Unfortunately, in what the Frenchman will term as nouvelle, something that has not happened anywhere, we are today his worst enemies. But that is how life works. I see myself as a man who has invested in a business and has been duped. So I will go back and pray to my God and take it up from there. It is not the end of life.
Spoken.
But we will await what the courts will say.
Definitely. Now, Dr. Lloyd, we know that Governor Fubara has ordered an audit, of local government accounts in Rivers State for the past 3 years. Are you worried about this? Do you think the process will be fair and transparent?
Doctor, it is not my business to wonder whether the process will be fair. But my first witness in that probe will be the governor himself. I will list him as my first witness because until recently, he was the Accountant General of Rivers State. So he will be my first witness in the probe. And I look forward to that probe.
Well, with all this back and forth and the tension within Rivers State, a very key state of our nation, as everyone has noticed, the governance of the state has gone to the wayside. And so have it seems the priorities of the governors and those in higher positions at the detriment of Rivers indigents. So what do you have to say about all the work that isn't being done in Rivers State because there's just so much legal back and forth and confusion as to who is running what?
Well, Dr. it's most unfortunate. We didn't bargain for where we find ourselves, but I'm not in a position to score the governor, because if I score the governor, I would be perhaps the worst teacher on planet Earth. So I'd like to leave it at that. You, as a member of the fourth estate of the realm, you do your devil's advocate. You will be in a better position to score the governor of Rivers State for the past 1 year. If whatever I say now, I will be accused of bias. but the facts are, I'm sure they are visible to the blind and audible to the deaf.
Well, very well said. Now, before we let you go, this crisis has been lingering for a while, and people have brought up the discussion of godfatherism in politics, all over again. So I'm wondering, how can we prevent a recurrence, of this sort of crisis going forward? How can we have a successor that is independent from the predecessor so that they can govern without interference?
No, Tokpe. When people want to be mischievous, they plead all kinds of things. And all that I have told you, where has a godfather been named? In all of the infractions to the law, in all of the affronts on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in all of the affronts on the pronouncements of the Supreme Court in corollary issues, such as the pronouncement of the courts in the AG Ogun State and the fellow, in the case of the AG Abia and AG Federation, and other plethora of decisions by the Supreme Court. Where has any godfather been named? But people have been touting the name. I'm sure you are just a minute away from calling the name of the Minister of the FCT. Tokpe, I wish you had called me during the making of the governor. I wish you had called me to say, look, the governor should be allowed
Dr. Lloyd, allow me to interrupt
so
you. We also have it on record, where the former minister, or where the present minister of the Federal Capital Territory, was talking about the fact, that somebody was trying to collapse his political structure and, make him irrelevant, and that nobody would allow that. So if that is not godfatherism, what is it?
Well, what was your response to the minister when he said so? Because I don't speak for the minister. I am not holding brief. I'm not holding brief for the minister.
Well, you just talked about the fact that there's no godfather involved in this crisis. So then please explain what this crisis is about.
What I'm saying, Tokpe, if you let me speak, everybody has a mentor, right? The word mentor, has it left the dictionary? People are put in positions and are guided. The word mentorship. If I make a man, for instance, I help someone to become my successor as local government chairman, would I immediately leave the person? You would learn. There are things that may have been done. A lot of things guide you. Nobody, I'm not sure that the incumbent governor of Rivers State is in his second term. Okay? And there is a man who on the day of the primaries, when he was asked to make his acceptance speech, told us clearly, unequivocally, that he's not prepared for this job. He's an accidental governor. And that we would have told him 20 years ago so that he would prepare. He said so. And I don't know why Tokpe is not referring to that.
But also, I'm also wondering, why would a mentor...
Here is an accidental governor.
Why would a mentor also put somebody who is not prepared? If the mentor is also sincere, why would a mentor put somebody that is not sincere on the job?
Tokpe, I told you here, I'm speaking as myself. If I say a thing now, you say I'm using semantics. I'm trying not to use semantics to bamboozle you. That's why I'm trying to make this thing in plain language. I'm struggling to make it in plain language as much as I can, so that you do not accuse me of using semantics. Oh, so I'm fine. I'm in a bit of a dilemma here.
No, you're perfectly all right. I think you've explained yourself very well, but I will accuse you of semantics because that's what you did. You equated mentor with godfather. It's very clever. It's actually quite good. With the protesting and keeping vigil, it's something I might need to learn and keep in my back pocket for the future. Thank you so much, Dr. Chidi Lloyd of Rivers State. I don't even want to say former before we get into this discussion again, but we will see it as the court judgment comes.
You are still finding it difficult Well, you are still finding it difficult to refer to me as chairman. Please don't. You are within the law. You are within your rights.
All right. Well,
Please
Dr.
refer to
Chidi
me
Lloyd.
as chairman of our local government.
No, the very astute, very well-read
Chairman of
Dr.
Emo.
Chidi Lloyd. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon here on Newsday.